You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, people. I don't even know what that means. I just threw it in there. It sounded like a good thing to add on. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. People in the audience are like, what does that have to do with the show? Anyway, guys, welcome to the big show. As always, for 16 years and nearly 2,100 episodes. Geez, how many episodes do we need to make for you people to make you happy already? Anyway, 2 to 3 shows a weekday. We have some of the most amazing minds of people that are going to share with you their knowledge. And that's what happens when you walk around listening to the Chris Voss Show. You get this glow that starts to emanate off of you, this aura, if you will. And when people come up to you, they just go, my God, you just radiate intelligence, knowledge, and empathy and emotional intelligence. And you go, well, I listen to the Chris Voss Show. So it's called the Chris Voss Show Glow. You can get it in your coffee. Just go to our, we don't have it. Just go to our shop and you can buy that damn Chris Voss Show Glow copy. Now, to work on that Chris Voss Show Glow, we have a wonderful gentleman here. He's going to be talking to us about tantric works and his Tantric Academy. So we'll get into it. Today we have on the show with us today, we're going to be talking to him about his stuff, Steffo Shambo on the show with us. And he is the founder of the Tantric Man Experience, pioneering transformational coaching program for men. He's got over 1,500 hours of certified Tantra training in India and Thailand, and over 7 years of experience helping hundreds of men worldwide save their marriages and reignite passion in their love lives. He has over 8 million views on YouTube and has been featured on Vice and Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast for his life's work, helping men unleash their full masculine potential. His holistic FLT method seamlessly integrates ancient tantric philosophy and his modern expertise in relationships, sexuality, dating, and men's health. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me, Chris. Good to be here.
It's wonderful to have you, Steffo. Give us your .coms, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs in the sky there.
You can go to tantricacademy.com, where I have all my free trainings, quizzes, and stuff like that. So that tantric with a C, tantricacademy.com.
So give us a 30,000 overview, what you do there at the Tantric Academy.
So I have developed over the last 15 years a special method that takes from ancient techniques from Tantra and combine that with my modern expertise in relationship, dating, in chemistry and all that. And I developed an own method that works on all 5 levels of the human beings to provide transformation in relationships, in dating, in only 9 weeks. That's my specialty.
That's pretty awesome. And so tell us about your journey through life. How did you get involved with, learning what you know and you teach? What was your story growing up as a young man?
Sure. I mean, I struggled a lot, and that's why I feel a passion, a purpose to pass this forward now, because I know how much it sucks to grow up and, feeling lost, having low confidence, no success with women, and, being at rock bottom and depressed. I was in that for a while when I was in my adolescence, growing up with, a bipolar mother and never getting that love from the feminine. And I had to heal that on my own, So
Really?
Going through a lot of challenges myself and coming out at the other end, feeling integrated and healed and, discovering these things. And it was not easy. I actually had to travel all around the world. I traveled to almost 30 countries to trying to find myself, to trying to find methods and people and gurus and mentors to heal myself. And then I was like, I think I stumbled upon some gold mines here that are quite rare in the world. And I felt, it's my mission and purpose to pass it forward. So that's my short overview.
And so your mother had bipolar sickness and alcoholism as well, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
That is a tough thing to deal with. I had a girlfriend that I was engaged to who had alcoholism. It was kind of like weekend alcoholism, so it wasn't around all the time. It just show up on weekends. It was being hidden from me, so I didn't understand why she was going through physiological changes. But that can make it really hard to grow up as a child in that environment. Did you have a father in the home, or was it a single mother?
Yeah. So I grew up with, you could say, a single father.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a mother in the home? Or did you just say without a single father?
I grew up with my dad and my younger brother. That's the family. My mother was in the outskirts. She was around maybe the first couple of years when I was a child. I was a baby. But it was on and off. Like, she was never really there emotionally and physically. You couldn't count on her. So, of course, that creates a trauma in a young boy, right? Yeah. You don't have your mother's love that you need, and that. So it's almost like you have to grow up and take care of your mother before you're ready for it. So a baby needs caretaking, not to be put in that role, right? So that was one of the big traumas I had to heal in order to change the relationship to the women I was attracting into my life, the women I was dating or not dating.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that creates, I think, what they call that, let me know if that applies to you, mother abandonment sort of thing, where it creates that trauma of mother abandonment. I've seen that in a lot of young men and a lot of men where the mother is absent. And, we pick up the blueprints of our parents that they represent to us in their relationships and stuff and their polarity. And without the mother in a young man's life, the mother really shapes the son. The father does too, but I think the mother has more impact because the mother shows him a blueprint of what a good mother should be and what the man should look for. The same thing with the daughter and the father. The father teaches the daughter as an example of, what a good man is and what she should look for. And usually when you don't have one of those two others, the people end up picking bad partners, trying to heal that wound, trying to get with people to heal that wound. And then it's kind of traumatizing when they get rejected, right? Because it's almost like they're reliving their mother abandonment or father abandonment.
Yeah, it's an archetype. It's not just the mother. It's an archetype of the feminine. Your father's an archetype of the masculine within you as well. So it's like your relationship to your mother will be also the relationship you have to your own feminine. And so what I didn't realize the first, in my 20s and early 30s was that, I was attracting the same type of archetype as my mother were, like crazy women. That was very dramatic, and it was just very turbulent, dramatic relationships again and again and again. And I couldn't figure out the common denominator until I linked this and healed this with my mother. And then I completely changed the type of women I attracted. So very, very interesting.
Yeah. It's weird how trauma attraction works. I mean, you're just like, when you have trauma, you seem to attract the bad people in your life. And then when you get clean, it makes all the difference, right? When you get trauma-free, you get healed and all that good stuff.
You can finally have secure, grounded, mature relationships that everyone is wanting. Like today, so many people are complaining about, like, why isn't my relationship working? Why is it always having these issues again and again? Why am I in these patterns of arguments? Why are the same things keep coming up again and again? Why am I jumping from one relationship to the next? Or, why am I attracting the same type of toxic relationship again and again? Or there might be more subtle things like, why is it that I'm always having a wife that is complaining, or a husband that I cannot feel is not there emotionally for me? So all these things have their root in how you as a child experience your parents, And that's the work I do with my clients. Like, when we unravel the root cause of that and then go and heal it, it completely changes, if they are in a bad marriage, a sexless marriage, it completely changes that immediately.
Wow.
Or if they're dating and they can't find someone, or they don't have the confidence to approach, or maybe they've been, single for 10 years, like some of our clients, or even virgins, it completely changes the whole landscape of their dating and what kind of women they attract in their life. So it is a game changer. People don't realize it. They go to therapy for years and years and just talk about their problems and never even get to that point of shifting things. So yeah, I think it's huge and it's overlooked.
Now, is one of the core foundational bases you teach from is teaching the tantric way, or you're going to have to fill in the words for me here, but tantric, the techniques of using tantric meditation or movement or stillness as a way to help heal a lot of these wounds that these men have?
Yes. So I believe in a holistic transformation, a holistic method, meaning that we work on all 5 levels of the human being simultaneously, not just talking about our issues in a therapy office, but we actually go down into the emotional realm and work on healing the emotions. Mentally, we go and see what kind of limiting beliefs do I have about myself, about my self-worth, my self-love, about women, and really go on a mental level and reprogram, rewiring those things in the subconscious mind, right? And then we go also energetically, because in Tantra we say we have an energy body, and that is our, the feminine energy or masculine energy. We want to have a balance there and make sure that our energy is running smoother. There's no kinks in the channels, and then we work on a sexual level as well, because it's important to master your sexual energy, to work with your sexual shame, your sexual shadow, right? So we go into all those realms that people don't really want to touch, and that leads to the spiritual realm of, can I find a place in me that is unconditional love, right? Find a place where I'm not trying to find a relationship to fill an empty hole inside of me and saying this person will make me happy, but rather can I enter into this relationship and saying it's going to be for a spiritual cause. We're doing this because we want to grow together, right? We want to become better human beings through the vehicle of relating, right? That is the spiritual dimension. So all these 5 dimensions simultaneously is what provides us sometimes within days shifting a marriage. But we have a 9 weeks program, and sometimes people have results within days, within weeks.
And so tantric, you mentioned there's 2 different types of tantric that you teach. One is the tantric sex part, and of course I remembered that. What's the other tantric version?
Yeah, we say Tantra. Okay. Tantric is when you have Tantric Academy. In Tantra, there's a classical form of Tantra that's traditionally, it emerges like 1,500 years ago, written orally. It said even further than that, maybe 3,000 years ago. So that is the old form of Tantra that included sex, but it was not focused on sex more than like eating or breathing, right? It was just a part of it. So that form of Tantra was about doing certain exercises, techniques, meditation, and energy management practices to push energy into your central channel that is said to go along the spine from the root to the top of the head. And the philosophy, the science was that you accumulate so much energy, push it into the mid center of your body and up through your head, and then you will have this altered state of consciousness, you could say. And that is an awakening. In Christianity, it's called enlightenment, right? But the same idea goes there. They call it samadhi, the same thing as enlightenment. So that was the whole philosophy. All the things that you did, whether it was eating, sleeping, having sex, or doing your practice on your mat, was to cultivate more of that enlightenment.
Wow. So it says here on the internet that the Buddhist and Hindu meditation that practices Tantra is a way to weave the physical with the spiritual. So you're trying to connect those two. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's the first tradition that is not saying that we are beyond our body and the world and say we have to sleep on hard mattresses and say no to sex and you have very pure diet. In Tantra, we say we can actually manifest consciousness on the planet, like in our body, and actually worship our body as a temple and worship sex as something sacred, and actually bring down the transcendent from the heavens and say, we don't need a middleman, a priest or monk or something to communicate with God. We're actually God within. And so that understanding is that, we can bring this kind of God consciousness into our daily lives and work through, making life sacred, all the different acts sacred. That's why I said, the way you eat, maybe you can start to bring spirituality into how you eat, maybe more slowly, maybe making a prayer before you eat, maybe, really savoring each bite, So that was the idea of Tantra, and that revolutionized the world of spirituality. All prior religions was transcending. You're saying that, the heavens are more pure than the worldly realm.
And so breathing, I think, is a big part of this, right? With the tantric sort of thing, and
huge,
getting into a meditative state. I know that sexually, I've used the breathing during sex as a way to push that energy and blood flow and relax muscles, and of course push everything to the central area. There's something there. I can't remember what it is, but it does something. But no, I've used breathing for a lot of times, learning to relax other parts of my body so that I can get other parts of my body not to relax. Let's put it that way. And I never had to use the blue pill, the thing, and I stay pretty conditioned too. One of my other conditionings is once on whatever night we're chasing the women around the bedroom, I'm not going to be able to sleep that night. I just can't go to sleep afterwards. For most guys, they can conk out. I've conditioned myself where I'm going to be awake all night. And so using some of those techniques, I'm not sure if I use exactly what you do, but I can kind of espouse or speak to the things that these things do work and they help. I know on your website you work with men who have ED problems, premature ejaculation, sexless marriages, some of the things they might do. And imagine some of these things can really help them, right? With longevity in the bedroom, stamina, hardness. Not sure what that means. Am I correct in some of these things?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like the breath in Tantra and also and elsewhere, it's so popular right now. It's been popularized by many modern teachers, but it's said that the breath is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. Because it has this link that is merging these two together. So breath is used to actually access altered state of consciousness. We have many old cultures and tribes that use the breath, the Native Americans, and they have, now you breathe for long durations, like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and finally get into this altered state of consciousness. Right. So the breath is really this bridge between the physical and the spiritual, the subtleties, the energies. Right. And that's why it's so powerful. Today we take it for granted. Yeah. Why is breath so powerful? I don't think it has a superpower because it's just happening automatically. Right. But once we start to play with it and work with it and manipulate it, we will see it has such a powerful effect. I have clients, like I can guide anyone into a breath work exercise that make people faint within minutes.
Really?
It's that powerful. It's not that I would do it, it's a trick, right? But that just means that how powerful it is. I can guide any of my clients to start crying, even if they're an adult, mature man. They start crying because they access some parts in their body, in their shadow, that were suppressed for so long, and suddenly that cork is screwed, and then all the things come out. So the breath is so powerful, and as you say, we can also direct it down to our sexual center and activate that if we want to go into that realm in the bedroom. Yes, it can really cure a lot of these things, and it's more powerful than we think. We take it for granted, but I could say we have like a breath epidemic in the world. We don't really breathe like we used to. If you look at babies, they naturally breathe deeper down into their bellies. Today we breathe very shallow up in our shoulders because we're so stressed all the time. So we really lost the power of breath. We don't breathe properly anymore. And that's why I'm saying, if we can reclaim the breath, I think we could really change a lot of our performances in our business, in our relationship, in our healing journey, in our sex life, so many things. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I can witness to that. Like I say, when you're during sexual activity, you can relax different parts of your body to get blood flow to different things, and I can feel things moving around, things relaxing, and of course you're trying to use breath to get your blood all into a certain point. And there's probably some energy there. I haven't really gone into the tantric part of it, but I downloaded your thing on your website, so we'll learn some more about it. So on your website, talk to us about some of the different trainings you have. You have got a single man masterclass and a partnered man masterclass.
Yeah, so those are free. Those are about 45, 60 minutes free trainings that I have that just lay a blueprint to an alternative way of actually restoring or saving a marriage. Usually there's a few things happening when there's no sex in a marriage, and that is usually emotional disconnection or mental disconnection or sexual disconnection. So I walked through 5 steps on how to uncover that and apply my tantric understanding onto it, and that's why, those who have an open mind, not everyone has an open mind to explore these realms of, tantra and spirituality, but those who have and try it out, they see a tremendous shift in the relationship. They don't even need to have their partner on board. That's the crazy part. Like, people nowadays think that you need to drag your wife or your husband to the therapy office and you do couples counseling, but that is not needed when you do this, because it's like magnets. Once one magnet is changing, it will just pull the other one along. So that's what I'm doing with men in that training, and everyone can go and sign up. They get a 24-hour pass. I think it's 24-hour, to just watch that training. I think it's super powerful for men, for single men. I mean, it's similar. I have used the same method. It works both for married men and single men. And for single men, it's all about using their, tapping into their authentic masculine power, not trying to use dominance or some fake mask or some passive, nice guy masculine, but really finding their true potential, the true power inside. And from that place, dating with groundedness and presence. And that works like magnetism. Like, women are attracted to that. That's what women want these days. They want a man that feel that they are in the power, in their confidence, without trying to be this aggressive macho man. So that's the sweet spot. So that's a free training for single men who wants to have more success in dating in their love lives.
I just took your course as we were sitting here chatting on masculinity or femininity. And it says I'm masculine, so I can keep my junk the way it is. I don't have to cut anything off. So
that's a quiz, right? So the masculine feminine energy quiz, right? So just to determine what is your leading energy. Masculine feminine energy is not man and woman in a gender idea. It's a quality, like a yin and yang quality that we all have, both men and women, meaning one is receptive and one is emitting, right? So we all have that in different percentage. It's just good to know what is your leading quality, so you can, determine like how you want to show up in your relationship and in your dating life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I usually refer to it as, everyone can, as you mentioned, can blend between their masculine and feminine depending upon what's going on. I mean, obviously, if my dog dies, I'm going to be feminine and cry a little bit. But, the rest of the time, I'm just going to kick rocks. But a lot of people have a core that they operate off of. I call it a core. So they're usually always in their feminine or they're always in their masculine most of the time. Then they're always going to revert back to that, especially in fight or flight modes. And so that's what I call it, the core. But yeah, a lot of people don't really think about this. They don't, and I think a lot of men don't really think about it. I think a lot of these men, since I think I'm one of the last alpha generations to be raised from Gen X. And I remember my grandfather was an alpha male who taught me masculinity. My father was a feminine man who taught me a lot by antithesis, let's put it that way, who cried a lot and couldn't control his anger and was emotionally reactionary with low emotional intelligence. And So I was able to see the dichotomy between the two and be like, how come my grandfather's this way and my father's this way? And, fortunately I was able to, what I call my grandfather is my real father. But these are important aspects. What are some other services or coaching or help that you do that maybe we haven't touched on that are available on your website?
I mean, I do have my coaching program. It's called the Tantric Man Experience. That is my 9-week flagship program. So that's the main thing that I do. And that's what I've been offering the world for the last 8 years. Mm-hmm. And so hundreds of men have gone through that program with great success. Everyone that's following the protocol will have results. So that's the main thing. There is an application. Not everyone can sign up for it. You just want to work with the right kind of guys. But you also have other free stuff, except of the free trainings and the free quizzes. I do have about 200 blog articles that I've been writing over the last 8 years. So it's a tremendous archive of free knowledge there. So I do offer all of these things for free. Those who don't want, don't feel it's time for them to go on a, big coaching program. But those are the main things on my website.
And you've got some free trainings, some free quizzes, different things that people can engage in as well. And you've helped a lot of people. I mean, that's a lot of people you've put down and helped get them centered. And so do you find that with the tantric experience that they're able to better understand the feminine, the masculine, and what's going on inside them, manage their emotions maybe better, what they're feeling or what they're thinking?
100%. It's not just a better understanding. It's an embodied experience. They literally feel the difference, right? So I think we have an overload of information. So I don't want to give more information to overloading their brains, So the Tantric Man Experience is all about embodying the knowledge to really feel like what you talked about, your father being very reactive and not being in emotional control. Why is that? And can we go to the root of it and heal it so they can actually feel like when the reactivity is bubbling up so they can take control over it? It's not about killing it and say, oh, bad reactivity, but it's about making peace with it and taking the steering wheel of your vehicle instead of sitting in the back seat, right? So when you start to feel this, people around you feel the difference. Like we have so many testimonials and interviews with clients that say, oh, their partner's starting to notice the difference within days. How many therapy or counselor can give that, feedback? I don't think many. I don't hear that. We have a lot of clients that come to us after years in therapy and they feel like it's not going anywhere. So the embodiment piece is so crucial to really feel it in their body and experience the difference. When you it clicks, you show up differently. You feel the confidence. You feel how you heal. You can see the reactivity. You can start to have a distance between these shadow parts of you and who you are authentically. It just shifts who you are. It's the confidence naturally arises and it becomes you because that's who you are authentically. It's like you're removing the invisible ceiling, the visible blocks that are keep holding you back, and you don't realize what is the elephant in the room that is keeping me away from having the amazing life that I'm thinking in my conscious mind that I really want. What is that? And we are actually addressing that blind spot, that elephant in the room. What is it? And when they see it, it's just like their body, the demeanor shifts. And that is what I'm talking about. It's not more information. It is an embodied shift that takes place. And they feel it, and people around them feel it. And that's why we can provide a rapid transformation.
Well, it's definitely something men should take care of. What do you help married guys? And I know sometimes if you've been married for a long time and your marriage is pretty dead and sexless, it can be hard to kind of recover for that if you've lost respect from your woman. Tell us about some of the ways that you help, or maybe a teaser of how you help people overcome that.
Yeah. So what happens is, in a marriage that's gone stale for a long time, we have clients that maybe have sex once a year, in a very sexless marriage, or maybe there's been 3 years with no sexual intimacy or touch at all, we have to realize that usually not where it's starting. It's starting somewhere else, like emotional disconnect, a mental disconnect somewhere that snowballs into this situation, right? So what we do is we take the man, we take the husband, and we say, are you committed to making this work by working on yourself, a self-transformation, right? And they say, okay, let's do this, let's try it out. So we go through this whole idea of reverse polarity, meaning that what you said before, you see that a lot of men becoming more passive these days. You call it feminine, I would say more passive, right? And a lot of women becoming more, wearing the pants and in power positions. It's just something that's happening in society right now. So what happens is that a lot of guys develop these like nice guy syndromes or people pleaser, this happy wife, happy life kind of idea of, I just make her happy and everything else will just be fine. And that is just leading to disaster, right? We really need to work on this like passivity, the nice guy syndrome, and healing the shadow behind, like, why can't my wife feel me? Like, why is it that I'm not able to lead the relationship in a way of having the polarity there and maintaining the chemistry for a long time? So when we do that work, and we can also do the work with women, it doesn't have to be the men, but one part needs to do the work in the relationship for it to work, right? But we focus on the men. That's what we do. We feel there's not enough offers for men in the world. So we do that, and we restore polarity by making the man step into his natural role, which usually is like 80 to 95% of the time, he wanting to be in a masculine energy position, right? And when we do that, we restore the reverse polarity in the marriage, and then by magic, she falls into place. It's like you are dancing salsa with your woman, and you taking a step forward. What happens? She has to take a step backward and follow your lead. The same thing happened here. We transform him, and of course, if the equation in a relationship is, man, woman equals third entity relationship, that equation must change if we change one of the parameters, which is the husband, right? So wife, husband equals third entity relationship. And we are changing the husband. So the equation and the result will change. She will follow suit in that. And that's kind of where the magic starts to happen. And the guys are like, wow, this actually works. I don't know what's happening, but I love it. My wife is finally asking for sex again. She wants to have sex again, because all the things underlying that snowballed over the years of, I can't feel him, he doesn't understand me, I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard, or it's too much responsibilities, I have to do all the organization, I have to take care of the kids, I'm overworked, I'm stressed. All of that now is being addressed, and she can relax and fall back into her femininity again, her feminine essence, because that's when they want to have sex, not when they're wearing their masculine career hat and, have to take care of the household and the kids and their husband and his emotions. That's too much. And then she don't want to have sex at the end of the day. At 9 p.m., she's tired. She wants to go to sleep. She don't want to have sex. So that's the gist. But it's just much more to get there, but that's the quick long answer.
Oh yeah, well, very insightful as well. Yeah, it's something that men need to really understand, and a lot of men don't get taught this. We just get taught to just go do man stuff, grunt a lot. And that's what I was taught. Just grunt a lot and you'll be manly.
Go to work, go to the gym, and everything will work out.
Yeah, everything will be fine. And, women are trained, they've got magazines, they learn about men, all that good stuff. And men really don't have a lot of sort of resources to learn, number one, about themselves and masculinity, especially in a world where masculinity is under attack.
Yes.
And which is ironic because, in our dating groups, all the older women are like, "We're all the masculine men." I'm like, with all the good women, the feminine women. But yeah, it's kind of funny that way. What have we touched on that you offer through your coaching services that we want to tease out to get people to reach out to you?
No, I mean, go and explore my website, tantricacademy.com. Like I said, there's a lot of free resources there. You can sign up for my mailing list as well if you want. And I offer cool stuff in my email list as well. And so there I sometimes launch smaller programs that are outside my main coaching program. But except of that, dig in, do some quizzes, do the free trainings, read some of my articles. I think if you're a married man that want to, reignite the spark in a relationship, you'll find a lot of value there. Or maybe even just improve your sex life. Maybe it's average, but you want to improve it. Or if you're single man and you feel like you struggle with some confidence, some dating, or you feel like you're in a pattern of jumping from one girl to the next, and you feel like you want to settle down and find the one, go and explore my website, and I think you will find a lot of valuable, interesting information.
I mean, definitely the more you can use, and breathing and blood flow is so. A lot of people just don't get how important that is during sex. I mean, it's a muscle, those parts of your body during sex are a muscle. And so practicing breathing, blood flow, it's all a real cool portion of that. And if you can learn to manipulate that and focus your energies in that way, maybe I should take some tantric sex courses.
You should.
I might be
Sounds
more evil
like it.
Might be more evil than I already am. So as we go out, give people a final pitch out. What type of clients they need to be? Do they need to have a certain amount of net worth? How can they reach out to you to handshake with you to find out if the two of you are a good fit, et cetera, et cetera? Did you get that?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
sorry
Steffo, tell us how people can reach out to you as we go out, how they can contact you, utilize your services, find out more about how they can work with you.
Sure. Yeah. So I work with men, of course, that is open-minded, so they need to be open-minded to an alternative way of, transforming themselves. So this is usually a life-changing 9 weeks journey. So that's why we need the open-mindedness, coachability, and just commitments to this, because yes, changing your life requires some work. So we require about 30 minutes of practice each day, 3 to 4 hours a week to put into this. So it's still doable for any man who has a family or has a profession, right? You can still do this. If this is a priority for you, you can still do it, and you will have results. So if that's something you're intrigued by, go to the website and click coaching, my coaching program. Down there, you can see how to apply for the program. You watch the 45 minutes training and then schedule a call to speak to me. We get on the phone for about 45 minutes and we can talk about the issues you're having, the goals you're having with your love life and marriage. And then we can also talk about my coaching program, see if it's a right fit. I will invite you to join and we can talk about that as well.
Well, it's been wonderful to have you on, Steffo. I really appreciate it, and we've learned a lot. And yeah, I mean, there's something more empowering than having a great sex life, knowing you can make your woman happy and walk like a duck the next morning. So there's that. Thank you very much, Steffo, for coming to the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Thank
you. And thanks, Lawrence, for tuning in. Check out Steffo Shambo on his website at tantricacademy.com. Learn more. I'm really a big believer that men should be more in touch with their masculinity and femininity is kind of cool too. And check that out, because understanding yourself as a man is really important in today's world. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1, the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that's